relative inability to run the football against Texas Tech too?
I think it was uh definitely us just not playing our best. I think there was a number of things that we could have done better. I know, especially from an O-line perspective, we could have done, a little bit more than we should have, and we just weren't playing our ball Saturday.
I also wanted to ask you, just in terms of games of that variety where it's top 10 opponent, that type of stuff, do you guys feel like the moment may have been too big for you?
No, I don't think the moment was too big for us at all. I think that we just, like I said earlier, we just didn't play at the level that we needed to play at and the level that our coaches expected us to be at.
Yeah, Austin, did you notice anything in the huddle with Bear? Did you, speaking of kind of meeting the moment, did you feel like he was still poised and had that composure that we've seen throughout the season?
Yeah, he's done a great job for us all year. He's kept his poise all year. I don't think anything really distracted Bear. I don't think it really did anything to him personally. I know that may not seem it just with the outcome, how, everything played out, but Bear has been poised all year. He's done his job. He's done more than just his job. And yeah, I don't think that had anything to do with the outcome.
And then how do you feel like you protected him? I know they on the stats have him for one sack, but I think it was actually a running play. But the O line, is that something you can build off the way you protected him in pass pro?
Yeah, I definitely think that gives us confidence, especially with the talented group that we played last week. Those were two of the best um, defensive ends probably in the country, and a pretty good interior defensive line. And overall just a good front seven. And I think we held our own. I think we did a very good job in knowing, in the situations when we needed to protect Bear the most. And essentially that is our job. We protect, we have that mindset, we're going to pick them up. And essentially I think we did that. So.
Next question from John Kuhn.
You've had a couple of different games this year as an offense where things have kind of gotten off to a slow start and you've had to rally from double-digit deficits.
Hmm.
With the slow starts, is it just simply a matter of execution, or does there need to be more urgency on the earlier drives? I mean, what's kind of your take on that?
Yeah, I definitely think there needs to be more urgency. I think Kalani preached it a lot this week. We have to take the fight early, take the fight to our opponents early. And obviously in previous games we've kind of, it's been slow starts for us, kind of what you said, but at the end of the day, it comes down to us, and what our coaches want and expect from us. And that was to take to the fight early. And I think we just, need to just have the right mindset, going into the game. I know the coach prepare us for every situation, and ultimately it's really up to us as a team to do that. And that's just how we're going to get the jobs done in the future. So.
Yeah, so another thing that coach likes to preach is this idea of staying hungry and staying humble. It's kind of it's one of those things that gets preached a lot when you're rising in the rankings and winning game after game, that kind of thing. But do losses like this kind of put that sort of mentality, I guess, maybe into more of a full effect to realize like we're not there, we're not a finished project? Like, does that kind of sort of reemphasize that mentality, I guess?
Yeah, it definitely does. Staying humble and staying hungry has been a big part in this program, especially the past 2 years. I think Kalani and the coaching staff have done a good job in embedding in that into our minds, and not only on the football field, but when we go home to our families, it just helps us. It just helps us be better. I think another thing that he tries to embed in us is to love and learn. When we love to learn, we learn to love, and so essentially that's how we're going to become better each and every week, and ultimately do what we need to do.
Okay, Austin, looks like you're good to go. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Guys have a game like that feel like the defense held things down enough that you could have won that football game.
Yeah, no one wants to lose, and it was just frustrating to lose. The defense we could have done better, and there's a lot of places, especially myself, and if we held them, if we didn't have any points on the board, the game would have been completely different. So like And I felt like we could have picked up the momentum, and the offense could have fed off us, and then we could have fed off the offense as vice versa in that sense. And then we could have. I feel like the ball game could have been completely different, but unfortunately, we did lose, and so no one wants to lose, and yeah, it was pretty frustrating.
If you take out sack yards, the last 3 games, you guys have given up an average of about 200 yards on the ground. Is that sustainable, you feel like, or you guys need to have that number go down?
Um, I feel like the better we can perform, the better that number will be, and there's 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 really nothing bad in continuing better in that sense for those yards. Yeah.
You've been a very good second half team this year. You've been consistently from game to game making good halftime adjustments. What do you feel like's kind of keyed that second half effectiveness in games? And is it just the mentality of the defense? Is it their execution? What's kind of gone into just having that consistency in the second half of games?
It's more so just staying true to what we know and to staying true in what we do as a defense and to not let up. Our coaches teach us well, and they they do their job in helping us become better, and they set the game plan for us, and we just got to go out and execute, and we do that, and everything will be good.
Next question from Mitch Harper.
Siale, 2 years ago, you had a kind of a breakout performance against TCU, even on a game that was kind of a tough spot. Just what are your memories of facing TCU? That I think you had an interception in that game and trying to maybe get revenge for that loss a couple of years ago.
Yeah, being able to look back, we unfortunately we did lose. I was able to secure an interception uh and also as well play my first downs of college football, and it was an amazing experience just to be out there on the field. But this Saturday, it'd be great to get that win as well. So.
Next question from Jay Drew.
Siale, we just heard Coach Satake say that you guys were going to circle the wagons, I think was his phrase. What does that mean to you? How will that manifest itself this week?
Just to trust in everyone around us, just to go back to what we know what we need to do, going back to the basics, going back to um the little things, doing the little things, and um to practice harder and just to make up those little things, make up for those little things that we need to do better on, and as well as the big things as well. But to ultimately just to keep our head down, stay humble. This loss is unfortunate, but we still got to move on. We got to play the next down, play the next game, and so we just got to keep working more. Got to keep working hard, and do more in that sense of not wanting to experience this sense of loss as we from last week.
Yes, yeah, one of those teammates I think that it's pretty easy to lean on is a guy next to you in the linebacker room, and Jack Kelly. He had a game on Saturday, kind of like you did against TCU a couple of years ago, I guess, in that loss. What do you kind of learn from him that I mean, he's been just such an effective weapon for you guys. And I don't know if you've heard about this, but he was supposed to be injured a couple weeks ago, question mark,
Yes.
allegedly. Just
Mm-hmm.
what have you kind of learned from him that makes him, I guess, so good at what he does?
He's a great leader, and he knows his defense inside and out. So being able to be there, ask him questions, and get his insight on things that, as he's played a lot of college football that can help me. And so I'm able to pick his brain about a couple things on the defense, and as well as what moves to make, uh, and how to get better on that field. And so it's an amazing uh, asset to have him next to me and able to ask him for advice and things like that.
Okay, looks like you're good to go. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Carson, just give us a sense of how you're feeling coming out of that game against Texas Tech.
I mean, I'm pissed off. I hate losing, and we had opportunity to do something great this year and go 12-0, and we lost that chance. But it's whatever. You just move on to the next, and right now we got TCU next, and our destiny's still in our hands. We just got to go out and perform and bounce back as an offense, especially So, I'm pissed off. You always hate to lose, but we'll be fine. I trust in our team and all our coaches. Like we're gonna bounce back and we're gonna be even better from this. So, yeah.
You've played a fair amount of football. Where would you rate that Texas Tech defense in all the games you've played?
Oh, they're one of the best defenses I've been against. I played with and against a lot of great players in my time in college football, and they got some great players over there on their defense, especially in their front seven. I went against those guys a lot in that game, so I was really impressed by them. But we can, hopefully get another chance at them in a few weeks.
Yeah, Carsen, what did you see from Bear kind of in the huddle regarding his poise and composure? And how do you expect him to respond from probably his toughest outing as a Cougar?
I think Bear will be fine. He's a really tough guy, and he's hasn't experienced loss in college before, but I'm sure he's lost a football game at some point in his life. And so, we just gotta tell him like it's the same thing, dude. You just gotta bounce back, just gotta move on. Look at what mistakes we made and what we can do better, and just how we can learn from it. It's just being a learning experience for him. And so, Bear, yeah, he's a really mature guy, and so I think he'll be fine, and we'll be good as an offense.
Carson, one of the many sayings that Coach Sitake likes to say a lot is "stay humble and stay hungry." Does a loss like Saturday kind of sort of reemphasize that and maybe put a focus on the team of not being a finished project, not being,
Mhm.
I mean, maybe just kind of magnify some of the inefficiencies to go back to the drawing board with and go back to practice with?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it definitely like losing like that helped like really points out where we can be better as a team and as an offense. So, there's a lot to learn from this game, and hopefully we can take it as a team and just get better. Just take this opportunity to learn from the mistakes we made and just find ways to be an ever better team for the rest of the season.
Yeah, Carson, I think you guys faced TCU last year at Rice Eccles. What do you think about their defense? What do you see from their defense and what they'll bring into Provo on Saturday?
Well, I don't know too much about the team this year yet. I haven't done a whole lot of scouting with them yet, but uh, I remember last year they're a good physical team, and that's just how it is in the Big 12. Like they're always going to be physical guys, and they're going to be big, and they're going to play fast. They're a good team though. They're only a two-loss team, and so they're gonna fight for their chance to get in the Big 12 championship. So they're gonna come in with everything they have in this game, and so we just gotta be ready to just play our best.
Yeah, Carson, there's been a lot of you doing max protect and the like recently to keep guys like Bear clean in the pocket. Where do you relish the role in terms of your blocking prowess?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I love blocking. It's one of my favorite parts about playing tight end. You always want to get the ball, but like, part of your role as tight end is to be a blocker and be an extra lineman. And being able to do that and just have the coaches rely on you for that, is a big testament, to me and the work I put in for my blocking ability and just being physical and dominating dudes, especially guys that are, bigger than you sometimes. And so, no, I don't hate the fact that I got to block a lot. I love that part of football and I love that part of my game. And I've always been a big blocking tight end my time in high school and in college. So I love that part about it.
I also was going to ask you in terms of looking forward here. Kalani used the term, I think it was rounding up the wagons essentially and just coalescing around your guys' selves. What's the
Mhm.
mindset in the locker room right now?
I mean, no, everyone's, no one's worried. No one's like stressing out. No one's freaking out. Like we're just, we'll just take the loss and take it on the chin, just move on. Like I've been saying, just, find ways to correct the things the mistakes that we made and just, like Kalani said, just round the wagons and just focus on ourselves and, you know, focus on each other, build each other up, keep that confidence in ourselves. Like, just like we're still an 8-1 team, one of the best teams in the country. And we think that we can hang with anyone out there. And, hopefully we get our chance at those guys again and we can get our revenge. But, we're just worried about ourselves and how we can get better right now.